None of that.
What is good, everybody? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. We got the super producer Joel Holt in the building with us on this one as well. Caleb Williams speaks. Got to react to what we heard from Caleb Williams in his recent Pivot episode. It dropped today. Excellent interview from the young man. Thought he spoke very eloquently and addressed some of the criticisms that have been brought against his name. And on top of that, got to look at this Chicago Bears team as a whole. What are their draft needs? We're going to look at the draft positioning and ranking based on position and players. So we're going to go through all of that. And then finally, the Friday free for all that and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Joe, what's good, my guy?
Oh, how you doing, man? It's a Friday. You know what I'm saying?
It's definitely a Friday. Yeah, excellent breakdown there from Joe. Oh God, he's got the dual cams going, and we're debating. Yeah. Here we go. Listen here, Friday, you son of ready for the weekend. No, that is the you got to give Dub some credit on that. He kind of started unlocking all of the like capabilities of the switcher.
That was by accident.
Hey, listen, by accident or whatever it was. Dub was like, "Hey, look, did you know it did this?"
He said, "I'm sorry, I hit a button." We got to chat. We got Breeze Nation's out here.
Breeze Nation in the building, baby.
We got here. We got
I see Baki up in here already.
Bear Down Mike was number one here. We got Lavelle Hilton. What's going on? Levante Rogers.
Me and Vel was on the drum line together.
Really?
Me and Vel grew up.
I forgot you said
me and Vel grew up together, and he was me and him used to be on the bass drums together. We used to be getting crazy over there with the jazz steppers.
Got you.
I mean, back in the day when I was young. I wish I would. Drums. I wish I would strap a bass drum to my back. Now I'd die.
I signed up for a band in like freshman year, but then I didn't follow through with it.
Yeah, checks out.
Well, I was producing music and had my own little. My dad let me use the studio all the time, so I grew up with that. I see Ringo. What's up, Baki? We got Mob O'Brien, Sean O'Hare, and who else we got up here? And Levante, Don Quixote, KD, James Blackburn, Aaron Reborn. And let's keep it going, man.
Let's keep it going, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Rock with us. If you haven't done so, hit that like button, man. Let's jump into the first topic. I think we're a very interesting conversation between the boys over at Pivot and Caleb Williams. Finally getting to hear from the quarterback. And I thought Caleb did a really good job addressing some of the criticisms that have been levied against him. I think the number one thing that we continued to hear from Caleb was him crying, right? It was the dumbest criticism I think that popped up throughout all of this process. Caleb Williams, he cried to his mother in the stands. How can that guy be a competitor? Nobody was saying that when he was winning Heisman's. Nobody was saying that when he was winning all of these awards. And he spoke to as much in the interview, right? When I was great, nobody criticized me for those moments. Then
that was a bar.
When I'm down, yeah, I mean, it's now all of a sudden I'm the bad guy in the building because I showed some emotion. And I thought it was great because he was like, listen, I've been crying when I lose since I was 4 years old. I don't want to lose. He showed that he was very focused, very poised in how he talked. And I thought, with that, and then the subtle, he ends up handing Ryan Clark his phone in the middle when he's talking about what he's focused on. It literally says on his phone, first pick in the draft, and it has the date and all of that on there.
Yeah.
But very strategic where he shows the back, phone's not pink. Yeah, I mean, like he's like, would y'all get off of these dumb things that you're trying to hold on to say why I'm bad or why I'm not good at football or why I'm not going to be a leader of men when I get to the NFL. So I thought he was very strategic. What do you think of the interview there?
From what I was able to pay attention to, I thought it was, it was really just dispelling a lot of the misnomers that people put out there, negative narratives, a lot of falsehoods. He's sounds like a good kid. He comes from a pretty good background. He comes from an affluent background. His dad was a athlete.
Yeah.
And then he was able to address everything. It wasn't, I mean, he's a confident young guy. And that's always an issue. A confident young man coming in with a little bit of like having confidence is always seem to be teetering on arrogance. And so it's like a negative for you to have that. But you know, I don't understand the issue of like, I didn't think it needed this so much of attention that he cried at his mom in the stands because I'm like, I get it. And then when he breaks it down, he's like, well, I realized I was done with my college career.
Exactly.
I lost. I didn't get the championship because I had, anyway, he popped his hammy the year before.
Yep.
This was a bad season because our defense wasn't great. And this was all I wanted to win. He's a competitor that wants to win. And like earlier, like when all this stuff would come out, right? Because I remember we're sitting there saying, like, I didn't want Caleb here because if he didn't want to be here, I don't want you here.
Right. Yeah.
But that's because the narratives are being put out there for that. So the fact that you can hear him sit there and say, no, I expect to do this. And what did you say earlier? He's kind of a weird dude in the sense of like he's only focused on football.
Oh yeah, he said I'm sitting in my bed watching like TV slamming a bento box, and I was like, oh, this guy likes anime. Yeah. He's gonna be the leader, bro. He's got it. You slamming a bento box midday?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, come on now.
So to me,
I love it.
Yeah, I like it that he seems to be focused on football. He's responsible. He understands the magnitude of the position he's been in because I think that he's been what was the term? He's been number one. You know, what did he grow up saying something about? He's been number one since
number one since 8th grade.
Yeah, since 8th grade.
Yeah.
So it's like he's smart enough to understand the situation. I think if this works out, which we believe it should, we are very fortunate to finally get a quarterback of this type of caliber who's poised to do something, you know, hopefully special.
Yeah, and I think here's my thing with all of it, right? When he talked about realizing the moment, and he speaks as somebody who is confident in his ability. He speaks as somebody who is confident in what he should be able to go out there and do.
Yeah.
And it affects him when he wasn't able to do that. He wasn't able to compete for a national championship. You're not able to compete for the Pac-12 championship because you're 6-3. That's the end of it. You know the third loss and it's over, right? And so I think when you put things in context of, okay, what is this guy actually saying? What is he actually feeling in those moments? Yeah. That's the exact competitor that I want on this team. And even when he talked about, right, like there was a play where snafu play happens. He ends up with the ball. He thinks he's going to end up scoring a touchdown on this play, but the play wasn't called for the ball to be in his hands. It was a handoff on 4th down, and Lincoln Riley wouldn't give him the ball. And he's like, I was pissed. Yeah. I was fuming at the fact that I couldn't get the football in this moment to put my team over the top, that I couldn't go out there and they stop him, ball is fumble, ends up in his hands. He ends up making a big play. Yeah. And all of a sudden it seems like he's going to score the touchdown. But it's those moments. We haven't had somebody who's this sure of themselves as a player since Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
And that can back it up, I should say. Derrick Rose didn't speak much, but you felt it in his presence that, hey, listen.
When he was yamming on cats.
Bro, when he was going on the point guard run.
He was
when he was going on the point guard. Well, I shouldn't say that. Let me not say that. I'm gonna roll that back.
Shout out to my
DeMar DeRozan is that confident.
Little big cuz Landon, what's happening?
Landon in the building. DeMar DeRozan is that confident. I'm not gonna say right. DeMar DeRozan, no, if I 2-dribble pull up this, it's going in. You just got to deal with it. Yeah. So I'm not gonna say since Derrick Rose, but I think somebody who speaks in a way where my game is going to carry my team to where it needs to go, and on top of that, this is the expectation.
Yeah,
he speaks like a superstar.
Yeah.
And I don't think Chicago has had somebody that speaks like a superstar, especially on the football field, in a long freaking time.
There's something to be said about you being the number one ranked person. Like, you're number one in the world.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about that, being able to deliver, you know. I think what I like, though, is that he faced the adversity that he faced in college, where he learned from that, versus like he knows that like not everything is a given. You could, you know, you sit there and can be the number one person, but all these things have to, you know, take effect or work out for you in your favor. So the fact is, like, he didn't win in college like he would like to. I think it shows that, like, you know what, he's able to, hopefully that translates to understanding what it takes to win even in the next level, because it's like it's not guaranteed.
Yeah. And
then the fact is, like you said, because he spoke something about being in California, how, you know, him being able to hang out among stars in the sense, but not necessarily being starstruck. But he was saying like he was around like to see Kardashian.
You're around Brian. You're around the
all
Kardashians.
LeBron,
Juju
like,
Watkins is on. Calm down. Juju Watkins is on campus with you. Calm down, sir.
Oh, sorry.
With that beard. Juju Watkins is on campus with you, so you're getting all of the notoriety and things like that. And so I listen. The one thing that I feel Chicago does deserve is a superstar quarterback, and I love the fact that this kid moves with the confidence of somebody who believes. Guess what?
Coming into,
I am a star.
Yeah.
I am the man. When
he
he was sitting there talking about what you're gonna get on the field, he said, "Listen, this is what I'm bringing. This is the level that it's going to be at. And this is what is expected." Champ, he said, I don't play for, I loved it too. Because it was a moment in the power where it was almost like, all right, kid, talk your talk then. Because he was talking about how everybody's got these opinions. He's a big play guy. He's a scrambler. He runs. He does this. He does that. He said, I got a status saved in my phone. I am literally as even as you can be in all of football.
Yeah,
among all quarterbacks on scramble to pocket presence. So he's aware of the things that people are saying about him. He's aware of the things that people are sitting here trying to bash him with. And he's like, I'm just as good in the pocket as I am if I'm scrambling outside the pocket.
Boy. That's what I'm saying. Oh, by the way, 100 in the chat. We had 100 in the chat.
Over 100 in the chat.
Actually, dropped 98. You said 101.
Hit that like button, man. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page. Leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, man.
What I was going to say is he reminds me. It's like Reggie Jackson from baseball. And Steinbrenner says, you come to New York, I'm gonna make you a star. He said, no, I'm bringing my star to New York. And the Mr. October won. They started when they called him Mr. October. Like this could be, a long time waiting. In terms of a superstar quarterback, it's Jim McMahon. He was the guy.
Here's the funny part about McMahon too. Here's the funny part about McMahon. My fault. I lean back. Like, you're not wrong, because I think Jim spoke like this. Jim talked like he was the best dude to ever walk into the building, right?
Whether he actually was,
to this day, whether he was, that's different. But he
had
like,
the moxie. He had the punky QB. He was the guy.
Yeah,
it was him and Walter Fridge with like the big three, right?
Yeah.
So this guy becomes this is the number one guy, and to be in Chicago. So I love it. I love the fact that he was able to. I think they allow him to be able to speak versus sometimes, you do some of these interviews and they're like a lot of pointed questions, try to pin you down or try to be real negative. They allow
the one he did with Colin.
Yeah.
Hey, so was your offensive line bad, or do you like to run?
Exactly. Like, you're not giving him the ability to
never
really
be on this show,
articulate himself. So I thought it was right. Never coming back. Never. Cowards.
You'll never work for Disney again.
It'll never work for Warner Brothers. That's for darn sure.
Get this monkey out my ear. Hey, if y'all don't get the reference, go watch Richard Pryor, man. No, but facts, Mike Davis. Jim showed up day one with a 6-pack and 4 of them drunk already. He's like, I know what I'm doing here.
Man, but you want that, right? The leader, he's able to, take the brunt of everything on his shoulders, because it reminds you that, like, even with McMahon, he said in the Super Bowl, he deflected a lot of the attention and everything was going on to him because he could handle it, and they delivered. It was the issue with his, he got his behind was bruised or whatever.
Yeah.
But for him, because what he said, I can do everything that you need me to do. I'm all things that I can do and deliver, or something like that.
Talk about Caleb, yeah.
Caleb, like, hey man, I like that.
I love the confidence that he has. I love the swagger, and I love the fact that it is rooted in production that he's had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, we not in the 1970s no more? Do you know we're not in the 1970s?
You got to work with me. We're talking about the confidence of a player. It doesn't happen that often. The man literally said, he told the owner, I'm bringing my star to freaking New York. And then he won. When you can back it up, that's the whole issue. Like, that's the heartbreaking part about Derrick Rose. He didn't necessarily talk trash at all, but he wanted to win. His career was cut short, though.
Yeah.
But to be the number one guy, to become an MVP, that star, that shine was only for so long. It didn't shine bright enough for us. And hopefully with this guy, we get a guy that can be the number one guy, be the quarterback in the modern NFL that the Bears have never had.
Yeah.
Like they said, every other team has had at least a 4,000-yard passer for the most part. We have not had that yet.
No, facts. No, I agree. I think that the part that I love about him addressing all of the criticisms, like you said, he did it in his way.
Yeah.
He didn't do it in a way that everybody said you should do it. He didn't go on First Take. He didn't go on Instagram. He didn't go on Twitter and do all of that, right? He went to the Pivot podcast that probably asked to interview him and said, you know what, I like how y'all interview. I'm gonna talk about this in my way.
Caleb,
we
come
can
see
sit
us,
down
bro.
long as you want.
Caleb, come see us,
come
man.
through, man.
Come on,
come
through, man. Whatever
come
you need, man. Whatever the writer is, you know what you need, we got you.
I have no money, though.
But you know what I like? So
we don't have money. We're doing this for free right now. We working on it.
Just come through, come hang out with your boys. What I do like though is that because he is the first NIL quarterback, and he's already paid, he's already rich to a degree, he's already kind of adjusted for this. So because a lot of times the fear is you get like the Jamarcus Russells of the world, where it's like he got the bag, now the motivation, the this, the that, and squanders it. And he's already kind of like, no, this is a business. I've been doing this since at least 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
You know, so this is great.
It was also funny to me too when he said how he found out about the Justin Fields trade.
Yeah,
he said his phone just started blowing up, and he's like, I was on my way to a business meeting.
Yep,
he's a 22-year-old kid. I'm on my way to a business
Caleb
meeting.
Williams, Inc. Dog.
Right? Yeah, I mean, and my phone started blowing up, and I said, well, I guess I know where we going. Yeah, I mean, so. I love the fact. I do think, I don't know if it's Reggie Jackson-esque. That may be a little far to take it, but I do feel like Caleb Williams is bringing his version of his star to Chicago because like when you hear somebody talk like that, like he talks in ways where when he's talking about getting in range in college, which was crazy because he said he was at the -40. And he knew that he was in range, and he knew he was going to win the game, right? Like those are things with quarterbacks where that does permeate to the rest of the team. That does go out to the rest of the team. That does invigorate your wide receivers. It emboldens confidence in your offensive line. Yeah. When you go out there every play and you feel like you got a dude standing behind you that can win every game, like think about how confident those Packers teams had to be with Aaron Rodgers in the last 2 minutes of a game.
Yeah.
The worst thing, teams were literally scheming to go, hey, man, like, don't give him time. If you give him time, we're going to lose. Yeah. I think it was the Vikings. They had one of their backups in versus like the Packers or something like that. He accidentally fell over. And the coach was cussing him. He fell over into the end zone.
Yeah.
He scored a touchdown. It was like, it put him up like 5.
Yeah.
But it was like 1 minute and 30 seconds left. And the coach was like cussing him out, like, you know, we can't do this. And then Aaron goes down, wins the game. Yeah. It's all like, that's the level of confidence that you hear when Caleb talks. And that's what you want to have on your team. And that's okay. Don't take confidence as a bad thing. I feel like in Chicago, we feel like everybody's got to earn their stripes. And he does have to earn his stripes, but it's got to be, you got to be the humble dude until you earn your stripes, and then you can beat your chest. No, come in with some cockiness. Come in with some confidence. Come in with some swagger. Yeah. I like how he's moving right now, and I think that with everything that Ryan Poles has set up, if you feel like you've got that kind of mindset coming into a team that has Keenan Allen, that has DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, what's going to stop you?
So I like Mike Davidson's comment. He says that 4K passer state is overrated. Bears only team without one, but are 1-1 in the Super Bowl. Some teams have 5K passes, but never been to one. The issue with that statement, Mike, is that it's not about I need this quarterback that 4,000 yards guarantees me that we're going to win all these championships. What that means is competent quarterback play. That means that there are going to be times when I need the quarterback to make certain plays when the defense will make plays. Like when you look at the 1-1,
4,000 is competent quarterback play anymore. I think like 4,500 at this point is competent quarterback play.
But if you have a quarterback that's averaging 160, 200 yards passing, you're putting a lot of stress on the defense that has to win the game. If you don't have a running back
Well,
to
4,000
offset,
is what, 233 yards a game?
yeah, but I'm
Over
just
17.
right. But my point is that there's times that if that means if we're only having 2,800 yards passing, 3,000,
Yeah. So what? Right, exactly. What is that?
So that's 100 yards passing, and
right.
There's going to be times where the quarterback has to win games. So what I'm looking at is in key pivotal moments, the quarterback might end up being the guy that wins the game. Versus when you look at that 1-1 in the Super Bowl, what did our quarterback do? You put the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
Now, in the one Super Bowl that we won, we had the number one rushing offense. We had the number one defense. And we had a quarterback that was smart enough to say, how about we do an audible? Because Mike Ditka,
Lord knows
Ditka
running. Didn't want one.
So
why didn't you run the play? He caught it.
Just competent quarterback play is what I want.
Yeah.
And so you could compare, I would compare this situation to the Chiefs, the difference between Alex Smith, who had a number of 13-3 and 12-4 type teams, and then when they get Mahomes. They had a number one team. They had a top offense, they've had a top defensive, they had a top defense, they had a top offensive line. But the difference is there's certain plays where Mahomes does stuff off script. There's certain things that he's done that's been amazing. We potentially have a quarterback that can do kind of the same type of thing now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we need this guy to win every game moving forward. The point is that in key pivotal moments against the Packers in Week 17, I need you to do something.
Yeah. I think that's the thing too, though. I don't think you have to win every game moving forward. I don't think that you have to win or that let me say it this way. I don't think that Caleb has to win every game moving forward.
Yeah.
The Bears have to win every game moving forward.
Yeah.
The Bears have to go out there and figure out how to win as many games as possible. Caleb is a part of that. And you have an engine now on this team that comes in saying, listen, I'm not a Ford F-150 engine. It's a goddamn Ferrari. Jump in the car and we roll it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and so I think that to me is when you talk about improving, I guess, the expectation of your team.
Yeah.
Not to say that Justin Fields didn't hold this team to a high standard, because I think that he did. I think that he worked in that way. But Caleb Williams is coming in saying the standard is championship.
Yeah.
He says that in the pocket. The standard is not, I don't play football for accolades. I don't play football for the flash plays. And he talked about, right, like people sitting there noticing the flash plays, the highlights and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, that's not why I'm playing the game. I was like, I'm playing to win.
Right.
So whatever it takes to win, if you want me in the pocket, I'm in the pocket. If you want me on the edges, I'm on the edges. But whatever we need to do to win football games every single Sunday, and for him, it was every single Saturday.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. And so I just think that is something, especially with this team that has been put around him, with what you can still add in the draft. It's almost like the perfect culmination of everything coming together at once.
Yeah.
It's not that, I think we've said this a bunch of times, Justin Fields just missed the clock.
He was
the money that was there along with everything.
I understand
it. Just he missed the clock.
But see,
and Ryan Poles had to go a different direction.
And my thing was, I'm fine if we keep Fields if he still develops to what they want, because if you trade this pick, if he doesn't want to be here, whatever, we get the haul.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. And then we try to get a quarterback in another year or two. But if they're trying to win now because you only have 3 years, you only got 3, and if he's that special, this is Andrew Luck level type of quarterback prospect, then I'm not mad at it.
I think the other thing that he addressed, and then we got to get into this next segment where we are going to talk about some of the Bears' positional needs and rank them. Me and Joel have gone through our list and how we feel like these needs should fall. I think the other thing that he said that was amazing, though, was basically, in so many words, stop listening to what people are telling you that I said. If I ain't say it, if I got your number and I didn't say it, it ain't for me. Stop listening to what people are telling you that I said. And I love that, because we've heard him talk twice, and both times he's had to address things that the media has brought up that have no bearing on him playing football.
Yeah.
Or no bearing or aren't founded in truth on his decision on where he wants to go. Colin Cowherd talking about he doesn't want to be in Chicago. Then the next day, he's got to walk that back 24 hours later. Oh, actually,
Chicago's a great town. I mean, it is.
Chicago's great. I love pizza and great Italian food.
Deep dish of Walter yeah. Chicago.
But I legitimately think that him saying something like that, it shows that he is paying attention. He talked about it. He's like, I'll address some things on Twitter, or if you hear from me, if you hear something that is from my camp, it's probably from me.
Yeah.
But I'm addressing you with facts. If you sitting there coming with opinions, those are your opinions. Okay, it is what it is. That's your opinion. But if you're just saying something and you have a massive platform and it's something egregious, I'm going to address you with facts, whether that's a tweet, whether that's a phone call, whatever it is. And I just, listen, don't speak ill on my name if it's nothing ill to speak on my name.
Yeah. Cowherd is a turd.
Cowherd is trash. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Ferguson.
I keep, you know what's funny? Somebody said this to me the other day because they were like, somebody said Cowherd is Stephen A. Smith for white people.
That's more
And I
about
was like,
shock. It's more about shock.
But I feel like Stephen A. Smith is controversial. He does have controversial takes and stuff like that. But I feel like for the most part, I don't disagree with a lot of what Stephen A. says. I may disagree with some of how he says it, or how it comes across, but I don't sit there and just be like, this dude does not know sports.
Yeah.
I sit there and often wonder with Colin Cowherd, like, what is his expertise?
Wasn't he a sports writer?
Yes, but what sport is it? Like with Stephen A. Smith, when he talks football, sometimes it'd be like,
right.
All right. Yeah, I mean,
it's like kid with football.
It's like kid with football a little bit.
Kid,
you know what I
kid,
mean? Kid in the chat. Shout out to kid in the chat. Or when Shannon Sharp talk basketball.
Yeah.
It's painful. He has no idea what's going on.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not his sport. But when Stephen A. talk basketball or Shannon talk football, boom, they own it. I know what is Colin's sport?
It's just like Skip Bayless. Skip thought he was a basketball guy.
Skip is what is Skip? Skip boxing, ain't he? Wasn't Skip boxing? Or was that Nick Ray?
No, he was trying to be a basketball player. Because that was the whole point. He couldn't start. He had like one. Remember Jalen Rose?
Jalen Rose fried him up for his stats
Sherman
and all
came
of
back
that.
and tried to take him out.
I don't know, man. Like I just at least be good at one of them. Like have something where it's like this is your go-to and you're in your lane right now. Every time I listen to Colin, I'm like, ugh. He said something. Colin may be a pickleball guy. Shout out Mike Davidson.
That's too funny.
Oh, I love it. Hey, man, if y'all haven't done so, hit that like button. Max Kellerman was boxing. Shout out Mike. Shout out Mike. That's absolutely fact.
Max Kellerman.
And bro, I was the same way with Max. When Max would sit there and talk basketball, I would be like, you're
anything else,
dummy.
Yeah.
But when he would talk boxing, I would be like, yo, this dude got it. He know what he's talking about. But I don't know, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. We'll be right back after this message. We're going to talk about where we feel players and positions lay in importance for the Chicago Bears in this upcoming draft. We'll talk about that right after this. Be right back. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https://aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is Aura.com/The Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold.
Like every
Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love to another episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Pat the Designer, the super producer, Joel Holt here, debating back and forth as always. The split screen has been in full accord, although I think we were in agreement on most of that Caleb stuff. Listen, if you want to debate football stuff about him, fine. If you want to debate whether he's going to come in here and be a great leader right away, which I think we got an answer on that seemingly from everybody that Ryan Post has talked to, fine. Debating him crying in his mama's arms got wild. I ain't gonna lie. And listen, I love Greg Gabriel. I think he's a wealth of knowledge, and Joel loves him because anytime somebody is that how you say it? A dearth of knowledge?
I think dearth.
Is it dearth of what's a dearth? What is a dearth?
So it's a lot.
Is that really all it means? Like, it's not a thing? Like, is it a wealth? I thought wealth of, I don't know.
Well, yeah.
But even when he was on our show, I should say, the point of all this, and he was like, he was crying in his mom's arms. Right. I was like, you can see us all on the show like, okay.
But like I said, when he explained it, it makes sense too. But I don't. It's just like when Joel Embiid did that ugly cry. That's one of the ugliest cries I've ever seen in life. You came close. He was, sometimes.
Hey, Jordan in the comments, wilding. Hey,
whoa,
hey. He was wilding at Monopoly last night too. We heard some crazy things at Monopoly last night.
Was he?
Was it him or Calvin? No, Calvin was wilding. No, Calvin was wilding at Monopoly.
No, definitely you, dog.
We can't even say that on the show. Let's jump into our positional needs, ranking the positional needs that the Chicago Bears have in this draft. I think that me and you have come up with some interesting lists for this draft position and where we want to see the Bears attack most. I'll start it off. Well, you start things off. I'll start things off here.
No problem, man. Let's get to it.
My number one position that the Bears need to attack in this draft, and this does not mean with a specific pick. This does not mean that you have to do it with the 9th pick, 10th pick, or trade back and do all this. But it is the center position for me. I get it. We've got like guards that are converting to centers, and we've got the second center, or we got Coleman Shelton in here, and Ryan Bates, and that is addressing it somewhat. But I'm tired of the experiment of moving guards to center. Get me a center. I like Jackson Powers Johnson. I think that he's the best of this bunch. If you want to wait a little bit later in the draft, I don't care where you address this position at, but I think this is a position of need that has to be addressed. I'd be fine with you taking a Zach Frazier in the second round if you can trade back and find your way into the second round for that. I think Cedric Van Pran is a little bit more of a project. He's only a center. What's going on there?
I was just getting
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know what was happening.
Just give him an extra shot, man. A little close up.
I think Cedric Van Pran, who is only a center, not as versatile as the other two guys. I think that he is a interesting name if you want to wait a little bit later in the draft. And then my sleeper would probably be Drake Nugent out of Michigan. Listen, if Jim Harbaugh doesn't find a way to get this guy on the team, I think that I think that the Bears should absolutely look. Again, I don't need you to address it in the first round if you don't want to go first round there, but I do think that it needs to be addressed at some point. I don't think you have long-term depth with Coleman Shelton and Ryan Bates. Maybe Ryan Bates gives you a little bit of longevity, and maybe he proves me wrong coming into the season. But I'd say center's my 1. Left tackle right now is my 2. My left tackle's on the board. Joe Alt's a guy I trade up for. He just is. I'd trade up for Joe Alt. I feel that confident about him. Olu Fashanu, if you feel like waiting, I think Olu Fashanu will be there at 9. He may fall back. If you can find kind of a range where you can add some picks in, I'd be fine with you going left tackle there. Troy Fontenot is 3rd on my list right now. I think that he's a really good he's a legitimate left tackle. You have no questions about it. And then my sleeper on the list is Patrick Paul out of Houston. Patrick Paul to me is just a mammoth of a man. I think I said that when we did our mock draft. He's a monster on that left side. Got some technique issues, but you can get him much later in the draft and you can address that need. Then we get to the wide receiver position. Y'all already know MHJ, Malik Neighbors, love both of those names. Roma Dunze is a guy that could get to us. I love seeing the Jamar Chase comparisons on this guy. My sleeper on him, or my sleeper at the wide receiver position, me and J-Mac talked about this as well. Xavier Legette out of South Carolina, big body, a lot of ability. I think that he is somebody who maybe is going a little bit underhyped in this draft because he's going to be a second round guy. But if those first three guys are going and you're looking to address wide receiver, I would love to find a way to get back into the second round and get him. Or, and I didn't put this on the list because technically he's not a wide receiver, so I didn't want to get him on the list. But if all the receivers are gone, what's there to say you don't take a Brock Bowers?
200 in the chat, by the way.
Over 200 in the chat. 200. Somebody said, is Xavier Legette a sleeper? He's not a sleeper. I guess sleeper may be the wrong word for this. I guess he's my, like, if all the best are off the board and you need to go later in the draft to address something, I would say that, because Drake Nugent isn't a sleeper either, really. Like, we know what he is. Patrick Paul is a sleeper kind of player. But yeah, hey, exactly, Bears Junkie. Or if all the receivers are off the board, you get the wide receiver run. I would not be opposed to trading back and going and getting Brock Bowers, maybe 13 or 14. I know he's I'm telling you, dog.
In terms of a receiver,
big body,
I get
can play more receiver than he's going to be a blocking regular tight end. He's going to be the better of the two long term as far as receiving than Cole Kmet. And you've got your blocking guy maybe a little bit more with Cole Kmet. There's a lot of upside to this dude. Like I would love to have,
because he's kind of a Kittle. They saying he's more like Kittle, right?
He's more of a. Here's the thing. He's more of a Kittle, but unless you're like the top guy in the draft, it's hard to say. Like, when I watch him, I don't get Kittle. I get Kelsey.
Jordan, does Bowers get sacks?
Bowers can play quarterback. No. When I watch him, though, I see a guy who looks like Travis Kelsey to me. When I've seen his tape, he can catch everything. He's everywhere. You know what it is? And this is why I say he looks like Kelsey. What do we say with Kelsey all the time? Why is he so freaking open?
Yeah.
That's how I feel with Brock Bowers. Every time I've watched Brock Bowers, I'm just like, he's the biggest dude on the field. So why is he just open?
So, you want 3 tight ends?
Well, Gerald Everett's a 1-year guy.
Okay.
Gerald Everett's a 1-year guy. It's a trade back move to add more draft capital. You can still address a lot of stuff in the second. I'm not saying take him at 9. I'm saying I think Bowers, you could get 12, 13 in this draft. So you trade back on that.
I think either way.
Jordan said, might I interest you in Kool-Aid McKinstry?
Another quarterback.
What somebody called him the other day? They called him like Grape Juice Jackson or something like that.
Bowers can play quarterback better than Tyreek Stevenson, you jerk. Let me interest you in Tyreek Stevenson.
Hey, right. But no, I think
he's a 2-year guy. He's not 1 year. No, I don't think any of those guys.
Gerald Everett?
Gerald Everett. He's a 2-year guy.
Look at the guaranteed money.
I mean,
I go based on guaranteed money. I don't go based on how many years you actually have on your contract.
I hear you, man.
You know what I mean? Listen, what's his name is a 3-year guy.
This is my thing. I just don't want to recreate Cincinnati, where I got this great quarterback and I got all these plethora of receivers, right, but we can't protect my quarterback.
I'm not saying you should. And I think that's why you do trade back moves to still add some weapons, but you still you look at that second round. Listen, Jordan Morgan, as far as left tackle, I went sleeper with Patrick Paul, because I was like, I think Jordan Morgan is a shoe-in and he's going to be a high second round pick, but Jordan Morgan would be a great get in the second round.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love it. Like, I think there's just because you address something at one, and that's why I wanted to do this list, doesn't mean you can't address it somewhere else. Like, for me, edge comes in fourth to me because I know the Bears can build a defense. Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, game wreckers, game-changing players on the other side of that. Latu Letu a little bit later in that. But if we get a 5th-round pick back somehow, and that ends up being Muhammad Kamara, I'm very happy.
4th rounder. He's a 4th rounder.
4th-round pick. I'm very happy. Yeah. I think that we got a really, really good player that just didn't play at one of those major notoriety, big name schools that all of a sudden you're going to sit there and go, oh, well, this guy, he's the answer. When you see Alabama, you go, yep, that guy's going to be great at defense. When you see Florida State, you go, yeah, that guy's going to be great at defense. Latu Letu from UCLA, I love that. But even Muhammad Kamara is above him. I wouldn't mind Gabe, what's his name? Gabriel Murphy, who was opposite Latu Letu. I'd be fine with having him later in the draft. So I think this is more about where we rank needs and then kind of where you can find those guys at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like you said, that's kind of what you're thinking. What I'm thinking is these are my picks as I pull them up and we go to Splacow. I ranked based on where we are picking and what's available. Let's just say if Joe Alt falls to us somehow at 9, then I'd say maybe we just take that.
Absolutely.
Like
I'm not even questioning. If Joe Alt falls to us at 9,
if he falls to us at 9,
Ryan Paul's gonna be on the phone.
Yeah,
please call.
He falls to us at 9.
That's all.
Exactly. Put it in quick. Hurry. So
just that cackle that the Vikings room had when Justin Jefferson fell to him. Just
right. Yeah. So
Card.
You got your left tackle. You can protect your quarterback of the future, and you got your hopefully an 8 to 10 year starter. So my thing was, if at 9 he's there, great. Now after that, if he's not there, which he probably won't be, I'm saying this is trading down where, okay, I would move to the second position, which is trade down a little bit, pick up a 2nd round pick. I'd rather get Jared Verse because I don't think based off what they're saying, Dallas Turner won't be there. Muhammad Kamara is a player I think that could be there in the 3rd or the 4th round. And so that would be my second move would be if we trade down, get that pick. Now, if we pick up a 2nd round pick, I like Jordan Morgan or I like Kieran.
Love Jordan Morgan.
I'm a Gaji. Yes. Those would be the 2 in the 2nd round.
I just want to watch you struggle with it.
Well, thank you. Those would be the 2 guys I would like to target in the 2nd round because now I got my left tackle. I mean, I got my defensive end because even though the defense has been good, I get it. They can build a defense, but we were not that great on the pass rush.
Right.
Great on the run, but we were not that great on the pass. And then I said my 3rd position would be Jackson Powers Johnson in the sense of if we traded down. Because let's just say they trade down further.
JPJ probably going 20s.
Yeah. Now, if you're in the 20s, then I'm going to take that position. But I would still try to take Jared Verse because you can get Cedric Van Pran, who I think is a project in the later 3rd, 4th round. And then, receivers, I just feel like, look, I love to have the fact that we could have a talented receiver like MHJ or Roma Dunze or Malik Neighbors. I just think that it doesn't improve our offensive line and our defensive line to the point where I still want my quarterback to be protected. I still want us to be able to have the defense that can stop somebody on 3rd down versus we can't get to the quarterback when we need to. And yes, Jordan, he is such a sleeper. He's a sleeper 2nd round.
Nobody knows about this guy.
Nobody knows about that guy. Thanks, Mike Davidson. So I just feel like we need to address the trenches. To me, that's how you build a team. And you already got the quarterback of the future. Great. We have receivers. We just brought in, we're beating the dead horse with who we brought in. So I think we have the players that Bowers can play offensive line. Thank you, Jordan.
Hey, listen, I've seen Brock Bowers do a lot of great things. I've also seen him block. He cannot.
I mean, it's a different. now the thing is,
he's not a blocking tight end.
Now that is a different. If you were to get, you got Caleb. The issue is we still got to protect our quarterback because did we really get that much better on the offensive line? I got to pull the roster up.
I think here's the right when you look at the offensive line, it's not awful.
It's improved.
It's just been unhealthy, right? That offensive line right there can protect Caleb. Darnell Wright, Nate Davis, Ryan Bates. I don't know about Ryan Bates yet. I would assume
I put him as average for now.
They're very high on him, so I would assume that he's somewhat good.
Then we have to move him to good.
Left tackle or Tevin Jenkins and Braxton Jones. That offensive line will be able to protect Caleb. The problem with that offensive line is 3 of those pieces on that offensive line were missing this season. So you end up with the Dan Feeneys. You end up with the Jatari Carters of the world that are stepping in and trying to go out there and be more than just a backup rotational piece.
Right.
And yeah, they can do it for some games, but you can't do that. You can't expect that for long stretches of the season. So I think that they did address some depth. I'm not saying don't go offensive line here, but there's one position on that offensive line that screams above anything that it needs to be fixed. And it's not the left tackle position to me. And I got to see Ryan Bates before I have a massive amount of trust in him. But you know what I did see all last season? Footballs being snapped 17 feet high and a center that's just falling down trying to figure out life.
Hey, look, it went from bad to average, so there's an improvement. Maybe good, because there was a lot of red. I should pull up the old roster from last year.
There's no red on this roster. I will say that. We had some red on here last year during the season.
We did. And so now it has improved, but to see an extra receiver with Keenan Allen, we got a Pro Bowl running back, we got another tight end who's a good player. So to get, and then I guess we have to put Caleb in as just good. And then grow into being a Pro Bowler for now.
No, you put him in as Pro Bowler and you slowly take him down every single week because that's what we're waiting to do. That's what Twitter says anyway. Twitter just thinks we're sitting here waiting for Caleb Williams to struggle so that we can crush him. I'm like,
we want to win.
Like, do y'all realize we rooted for Mitch?
I like Mitch.
You realize I beat my chest for Rex Grossman after good weeks.
Well, for 5 weeks he was amazing. I was happy when Jay Cutler.
He was just up and down.
We were ecstatic when Jay Cutler.
Bro, I used to argue with people that Jay Cutler can do everything Aaron Rodgers could do. Aaron Rodgers just had a left tackle. Now I was 11, but still,
he was 11.
Yeah, I
was 11 with a.
I don't know how old would I have been. I probably was when we had Jay. We got Jay. What year we get Jay?
2009.
9?
Yeah, 9. I want to say 9.
It really was 11.
He left in. Hold on, wait. He was here 10 years.
He was here 10 years. I was out of high school by the time he was leaving.
It couldn't have been. We went to the Super Bowl in 06.
Went to the Super Bowl in 06. Oh no, I was 11 for the Super Bowl.
He left 12, in 2016.
13. I was 13. Something like that. I was young enough where having dumb arguments make sense.
I was a grown man.
That was a dumb argument.
My babies were a few months old. And I had a little bear.
Hey, King Booker World said credits. I got you, King Booker World. There you go. Joe get a lot of credits on them credits, man.
That was a template. I was making it on the fly. I got to edit that thing.
Oh no!
Actually, the new one I gave some shout outs to some of the some Breeze Nation.
Oh, did you?
I did. I put some Breeze Nation folks in there as I was just adding more people.
I love this. Is my favorite thing when Muzz be like, "Dang, Pat, you young," because that means that I know a lot. Must have no idea how old I am, or I just look bad. Must have no idea. Oh, you. No,
I'm gonna go with bad.
Must have no idea how young I am because I be bringing up these old references or like old video. I be like, no, I'm just obsessive with this stuff. I'll sit and watch a 1999 Bears game, knowing dang well,
You know that really impressed me about you. You know, because I was amazed at like, wait, how old you are, and it was like, how are you getting all of these references?
Oh yeah.
Like you're almost like a savant, and I for me at my age, it's like you act because you're a lot younger, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, well, 15 years. We just found this out. 15 years.
16? No, 16 years.
Is it 16 years?
I think it's 16.
Yeah, I'm a lot younger than you.
But it's funny, like your reference, like I was having children and living in my condo, and you were 11 years
I was born.
Where were you in 94?
Born.
Yeah. Coach Dre was with me on the train.
Man, we was riding the train 13 years ago.
Dude, we used
13 years ago. 13 years ago. I was
almost 20 years I've been going. No, over 20 years I've been going down.
13 years. 2011, I was a sophomore.
That's crazy.
That's a sophomore. Yeah, I mean, Derrick Rose still had knees.
I could just hear George. All right, Joel.
Shut up, Joe.
Shut up, Joel.
Hey, man. Let's finish it off here, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love. Let us know how you guys feel about our positional rankings. Do you like left tackle being the number one? I went center as the number one.
Sorry.
Let us know how you guys feel in the comments below. And of course in the chat as well. Appreciate the Breeze Nation pulling up and showing love as you guys always do. Bears Junkie Facts. I am an old soul, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was sitting there listening to my Prince record the other day, sipping some cognac with my one of my wife's friends' husbands who came over, and I literally was like, "Hey, this an old moment right here, dog. This gotta be."
No, this is funny. Kareem's silly, man. Kareem come in, he hits you with a couple zingers.
Joe was around when the Peace Stone was finale. Oh man, let's get into our Friday free for all, man. The Friday free for all, we are free to talk about whatever we want to talk about. We got plenty on the docket for this Friday free for all. See if we can get to all of it here. Want to start it off here. Moment of silence here at the passing of Bill Tobin. Found out that Bill Tobin passed away today. A absolutely instrumental piece of that 85 Bears team. Moment of silence for Bill Tobin. Thank you very much. Passes away at the age of 83. Joel, what do you remember about Bill Tobin? Not gonna lie, I was not born for much of Tobin's reign, but what do you remember about those 1985 teams?
You're so silly, man.
I'm
like, I was alive when Bill Tobin was helping run the Bears.
Yes.
You know what I remember from Bill Tobin was him cooking Mel Kiper. Because they were like,
oh, I do remember Bill Tobin.
Bill Tobin was on the Colts, so he was cooking. Like, who is this guy?
Who is Mel Kiper?
Who is Mel Kiper Jr. frying this dude? And then, I learned more about Tobin, Jerry Venetian, all those guys. They were very instrumental in building that 85 Bears squad. Yeah. So that was the last tandem duo of in terms of the Bears management before Mike McCaskey came in and said, I could play GM. I could play, football too. And he broke up the squad. So that's what I hated to know that they had left when I learned about that later in my life.
Oh, sucks to hear. But no, definitely rest in peace to Bill Tobin. And that is funny. I forgot about that he ended up. He was trashing Mel Kiper. Who is this Mel Kiper guy? And Mel could hear him.
Yeah. Oh,
Mel was listening in on the TV.
Yeah.
We got to take this guy because Mel Kiper says so. Who's this Kiper guy?
He was like, where's this guy come from? And no one ever listens to him. And it's like, he's right. It's like you listen to most of his stuff. Why he still has I guess he's got some good friends, or he's a lifer in doing this to a degree of scouting players. Mel Kiper clearly loves what he's doing.
Yeah.
But it's
have you ever heard him talk about it?
What?
Like outside of just NFL TV, like he was on Wild and Silver the other day, and it's just rapid fire. You got to catch it as it comes out.
I saw that.
Good.
Yeah.
Whoa. I'll be listening to Chuck Swirsky as I head up to my parents tonight for the Bulls game. So, something else that I got on the Friday free for all. Do we got a womp 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 on that mug and all? Womp 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 womp.
Where'd it go?
Oh, we don't have it. And we don't. That'll do right there. That is for the Porter family. Michael Porter Jr.'s family, his brothers, got to get it together. It is tough out here for the Porter family right now. His brother Corbin Porter has been sentenced to 6 years in jail for vehicular manslaughter while driving under the influence. This coming a couple of days after his other brother, Jonte, gets banned for life for gambling in the NBA, on the NBA, I should say, on his own team, betting on his team to lose, where he won a whopping $22,000.
That's crazy, dude. You did all that. What was this? You gambled $2.4 million for $22,000. Jeez.
No, when I heard it, bro, I was just like, my God, like, I just feel bad for MPJ. He's going into a playoff series tomorrow, right? Tomorrow versus the Los Angeles Lakers. And you know he's going to be flooded with questions.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dog, I shouldn't be having to deal with this because of my two knucklehead brothers who can't figure out how to get their life together. Maybe this is the life of being I think he's older than both of them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But it's just Parlay Porter is a great name. Parlay Porter is a great name. It's just it's dumb. It's sad to see, and I hate that MPJ has to go through all of this.
Yeah, no, it's disappointing. I meant to talk about this on for the best and worst for Monday, but I was like, I don't know if I was flattered or somebody.
Yes, for the Friday free for all. Shout out to Mr. Windy City, who gave Joel hair and a beard. I've been telling Joel.
He just a little crooked. Could you just move it a little bit?
Well, I think your head is tilted a little bit, my guy. So maybe it's more fro.
He could have moved it the other way.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. I've been telling Joel forever. You got the money. Go to Turkey. Go get it done, bro. Get the full beard treatment, the hair treatment. I think they take follicles off your back or something like that. I don't know where they pull it from.
They pull it from the back.
Back of your head. And put, bro, listen.
I told you, Canada. They're doing it in Canada.
Bro, you can be back, bro. You can be back.
I can be like Mr. Incredible. You can do it again.
Listen, and here's the thing. I told Dub last night, I said, if my hair start going, I'm doing it. Because nobody makes jokes about Deion Sanders' hair. Don't nobody make jokes about Brian Urlacher's hair. All of these mugs is doing this now, and nobody got nothing to say. Only people that be making jokes about hair is when they make jokes about LeBron hair. And realistically, those have kind of died because like he finally got it right.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to do out. He had the little.
It still doesn't look that great.
He had the little toop. Well, now it's like a bald fade that he like.
It doesn't look right. He's still missing.
Well, he's still missing the middle. Yeah. I think he just it might not have worked for him.
Yeah, no, I'm I've seen it in Canada, and I've seen it. I actually saw like a black dude get it. A lot of times you've seen a lot of like Middle Eastern people.
I saw the black dude, yeah.
But I'm like, he got his line,
bro.
back.
He was fresh, bro.
Actually, but I didn't know my cousin in New York had got it done.
Oh, did it not go well?
No, his
went well.
I didn't because I hadn't seen him. I didn't know he was balding because he lived in New York for over like 15, 20 years or something like that. He comes back. Didn't even notice.
Yeah.
My auntie was like, yeah, he got it done. And then a friend of mine was saying that he was one of the first guys that did this about 2 years ago in Turkey. Went out there and they showed the whole process. So I know it works. They just take your hair, put it right back in there.
Yeah.
But that was hilarious, man.
Listen, dog, I'm telling you. What Drake say, just hold on, we coming home. Go home. Oh. No, man, that is hilarious, dog.
I was like, my insulted or honored because someone thought about me.
You didn't made it, bro. You made it. You've made it. I don't even want to. I had another one, but I don't even want to do it now. That's a great way to end this show right there. Y'all let us know in the comments. Should Joel get the hair back? Should he go? You said he doing it in Canada. Should he go to Canada and get the hair back? Did y'all see that man up there, man? That was you gonna be a Hebrew Israelite with that fade on, right? Come on now. Hey, look at it, bro. Look at him. Look at him.
That's not my. I have an actual better texture, by the way.
You know what the funniest part about all of that is? With hair, I literally was like, oh yeah, he is Nigel's brother. Like it just, I don't know why, but I just remember Nigel with hair, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's exactly how you would look.
He's been just as bald long. He's been bald as long as I have.
Has he?
Both my brothers.
I feel like I remember him with a fade. Maybe not.
You know what? Yeah, in his 20s.
Okay, all right. I knew I wasn't tripping. I'm like, I feel like I remember him with a fade.
When he was on that the dance, So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah.
He had hair then. And as a matter of fact, because he used to break dance so much, the Joker had a callus on the top of his head. He used to dance so much.
Shout out to Holt, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We'll be back next week for more Chicago Bears coverage. We will have a live draft party here. I will be a Soldier doing a Bears vlog for the draft. I'll probably try and pop in on my phone. The Soldier Field internet is not that great. It's not where it needs to be. So I'll try to pop in on my phone if I can during the live draft party. But Joel will be here. P. Kid will be here. Jordan, JC will be here. I believe Ringo will be here. So everybody here reacting to it live on the channel. Hit that like button, all of that. Rock with us on that. Plenty coming this week. And we're going to have a lot more fun, man. For the super producer, Joel Holt. It's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down, one love, and 1 week away from Caleb Williams time.
Let's go.